What's up, everyone? My name is Wes, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. For today's episode, we were happy to welcome Keep for Cheap back onto the show. The group released their phenomenal debut album, Bundle, earlier this year. We talked about songwriting, the excitement of making music, fish physiology, and a whole lot more. Without any further ado, here's my conversation with Autumn, Kate, Bert, and Ted of Keep for Cheap on the Ear Coffee Podcast. How are we doing this Saturday morning? I had to look at my watch to find out what day it was, but it's a Saturday.
Excited to
Pretty
be
good.
here.
Yeah, doing great.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Sleepy a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid.
Yes.
It's good to be sleepy sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool. So just to get things going, in any order we feel led by the spirit, we can just do some little reintroductions. Just more so people know whose voices are whose.
Hello, this voice belongs to Autumn.
And also, what do you do in the band?
Oh, I sing and I play the acoustic guitar. Yeah.
This voice is Kate. I play the bass and sometimes guitar, and I also sing. And I use any pronouns.
This is Bert. He, they. I play the guitar also.
This is Ted. He, they. Yeah, I play guitar too. So
Yeah.
There are other members of the band as well. And by others, I mean one.
Yes, Grace. She, her, our drummer. She couldn't be here today, so you will not be hearing her voice.
But she's a real person.
But she
is
exists,
in the band.
and we love
Yeah.
her.
I'm a real person. I'm in the band. Keep her cheap. Yeah. So as we kind of mentioned before we recorded, it's been 3 years since
it's
the band has been on the
crazy.
podcast. Since we've had really, I mean, not had anything to talk about, but like we put out the album. That's a big deal. So of course we had to get you back. What have the last 3 years kind of brought you? Just kind of give a little summary before we get into the details and all the music.
Oh.
I mean, we did the album. That was like the big culmination, I think.
We had
For
that
sure.
big pandemic break.
Yeah.
That was.
There is a plague.
Yeah, there was a
Yes.
blip there.
Yeah. And I feel like that kind
shows for a while.
of was a big thing for us because I feel like that really set us up to be able to do the album. I feel like we weren't really like, we had like talked about an album, but we had never really taken the break to be able to like do the steps to get there.
Definitely in a way, like the pandemic is the only reason we were able to get that album made.
Seriously.
Because it's like we were gigging every single week. Too much.
Yeah. We weren't sitting down and like writing and working out parts. Like it was just like gigs were practice and like
Yeah.
we didn't practice. We just played gigs. Like, I don't know.
It's a familiar.
It was crazy.
Familiar experience, I think, for any.
Yeah. 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 Literally.
Like, well, we didn't practice, but we have a show tonight. That'll be the same thing. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into the album, there are the two other songs that Keep for Cheap has released. Y'all put up "Forgive Me." Yeah, I had to remember too. I was like, oh yeah, these songs. These songs are out there too. That's cool. But
Since
"Forgive
last
Me"
time.
came out in fall of 2020, and then "Losing" came out in last June of 21. To be clear, you kind of talked about how they were kind of like siblings. There's like sister songs written and kind of recorded maybe at the same time. What kind of was like the timeline for those? Were they written like around the same time? Some of the stuff that ended up on the album on Bundle, were they more like fully kind of distinct and separate in your eyes as songwriters and your eyes as members of the band?
I feel like they are pretty distinct from the album. I wrote those both, I think, in the summer of 2019 or like the fall of 2019. Because I remember we were playing "Forgive Me" like maybe earlier that year even. I don't remember.
I mean,
we
we
started
ended up
playing that
it,
song.
like at our
Yeah.
last show before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I don't remember too long.
Yeah, it's been a
No.
long time.
A couple times that I vaguely remember hearing.
Yeah, 'cause we played it like one time at a show at the Fallout. Like I just remember it, but I don't remember what the show was.
I remember also playing "Losing" at a house show that was like, what's that one house where I threw up right before?
the Row House.
Row House, yeah. That was like, I remember that was like our
2.0.
first time playing "Losing," or maybe not our first time, but I remember playing it and it being very new. Like as you were playing it, I remember it being very new. So yeah, and that was also like we recorded those two songs with the same person
Andrew
Hendrickson. I forgot his name. Sorry, for just a brief second. We recorded those. He was the same person who recorded "Get Along" for us. So I feel like that, like they have similar vibes, like production style,
Definitely.
which is also like very different from the album too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What kind of, in your words, made these songs feel like the need to like have them stand on their own? Obviously, as like just standalone singles between the EP and the album. Like obviously, I have my thoughts as like a listener and like as an external observer. But what kind of, from your perspectives, made it really distinct?
I feel like a lot of it was like the production on it, just like because we had recorded those like a while before we even were like thinking about recording an album. So by the time we like got to the album, we were already like, well, this is sounding kind of like different. So I don't think they can really go together. And like, I think part of it too was like our producer for the album, Khan, was like also saying like, I don't know if these would fit, because we had Losing that we hadn't released yet, and we were like kind of debating whether we should put it on the album. And there was like a lot of reasons. I think overall just like it was like a little slower, like more country almost, more leaning into like the super twangy
Prairie
type of
rock.
stuff than like the album. A little more like vast feeling too. But like, I don't know.
The 6
it's
minute
hard.
runtime on that one.
Yeah, seriously. I think also like I feel like those two songs, it's like almost like that was like a transition era too, from like, okay, we're turning away from Get Along and like pivoting into the new stuff.
I mean, even just thinking about how we refer to them when we're talking about like putting together a set list, because we have the EP and we barely play songs off of that anymore. We'll play Melting Woes and
Or Day Without You.
Or Day Without You, yeah. And then there's the record, and then we'll say the Kate singles.
The singles,
The
yeah.
Kate singles.
Yeah, that's true, because it was like the first time that I had songs written for the band too. So like, there's that obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Cool. Well, let's just jump right into the album. As I'm sure, hopefully, people listening know. It's called Bundle. Came out in June of this year. As you mentioned, it was recorded and mixed with Con Davison. I don't know if local legend would be the right term, but definitely very well known and deservedly so around the cities here as both just engineer and musician. Definitely leans more into, I think, some like the more explicitly like twanging kind of country elements and like kind of expands that sound. It's very in love. I'll say that. A lot of love songs. But it more so than anything else, it feels like a really like true culmination of kind of everything the band's been working towards.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, great. I hope, because that's what you want out of a first album, especially. And there's 5 songs by you, Autumn, and 3 by you, Kate, if I'm not mistaken. But what about this? What stood out about this kind of batch of songs as you were really first coming into them, especially compared to something like Get Along or even the Kate singles, as we'll call them now?
It's hard to say like how I feel like they all go together for sure.
I mean, do we want to talk about the title? I mean, I think that kind
That's
of
true.
leads
Yeah.
into this.
That's true. That's true.
Like, I guess, just even how you say like a culmination of things is kind of like what the album is, like a culmination of feelings of our differing like inspirations, differing life perspectives, everything that we've kind of gone through. Like, and I feel like this in the songwriting process of these songs, this is when we were kind of stepping into like being more collaborative, I feel like, and like being able to change things, and really like everyone was writing together and building from like the basics of the song.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
I feel like you can really hear that too. Like,
Yeah. That's like, that's part of why we chose name Bundle, is because it's like many things all tied together in a package.
Little bow on it.
There's a lot of things that go along with that. Yeah.
Like, weirdly enough, like that creative decision of just titling it was one of
Oh my God.
Yes.
we wrote the songs. It took us a while to arrange them, but then like we were sitting for fucking months.
Yeah.
Like not even arguing. We would just say words and we go, yeah, big grass.
Big Grass.
Big grass.
Big Grass.
That sounds
Big Grass
good.
was a top contender.
Can you smell it now?
Can you smell it now? Was also from the. It's a lyric from Fish Piss.
Oh my God.
So Can You Smell It Now and Big Grass were like the two that we were like.
They're both pretty goofy. They're both
like
pretty goofy.
Prairie,
Yeah.
skyline, water
Forest
trees,
road.
water trees,
Pothole.
water trees,
Pothole.
yeah, pothole. Oh my God, it was just like
Bundled up. We're like bundled
Bundle.
up.
You can really get the buh.
I really wanted it to be
Bundle.
Little doggy.
Little
Little
doggy.
doggy.
Get along, little doggy.
Oh, little doggy.
Yeah, you know. But
Little dog.
You have to keep it going though with all the like future releases,
Yeah.
like forming like a progressively longer sentence.
Story eventually.
It will unlock the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. Oh God. So what was the timeline for these songs? Like when were they first kind of coming together, both just like lyrically and kind of from you two as putting them together and then bringing them to the band? And we'll get a little bit more into that in a bit, but bringing them to the rest of the band and kind of fleshing them out. Like what was kind of the timeline for that?
Some of them I had been writing for very long because I think back to the song Segway. It says, I'm 22 wild years young is like the lyric, referring to my age. And I'm now 24. And when I was writing that song, I think it was, I was originally 21 and then I was turning 22. So I changed the lyric. So like years ago now at this point. But then some of the songs were like newer when we went into recording, which I think was kind of cool. Yeah. Like some of them we had been working on for a couple years or like a year or so.
Yeah.
I feel like COVID was when we really started like.
Yeah, for sure. Like Aside was super like solidly formed by the time we got to the studio. We knew exactly like what we wanted to do. But then like Checkout, I remember I finished like just to have like that song done for the album, so it was like really new to us.
Oh,
so like
it just
it took shape in the studio. I think the same thing kind of for Fish Piss too.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of like On the Floor, I feel
on the floor too. You're
like
right
those ones were
that.
definitely the ones that we started working together on last.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
some
remember
of them,
a good chunk of the songs, at least you played at when we did the live session.
Yes,
it was
that's
like
true.
almost entirely new stuff except for Forgive Me. So at least some of those, like
High My Emotion, we knew pretty well when we went in.
yeah.
And it's weird to think how much those songs have even changed since.
Oh my God,
like,
yeah.
I'll play that for like my people at work, and I'll be like, "Oh, we changed that."
Yeah, literally,
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
play like the same
Yeah.
part on so many songs. I'm just
And when did we record the album? Spring 2021?
May 2021.
So then, and then when did we do the Ear Coffee podcast?
it was the last
Fall
session, I think, at least
2021?
we released in like February of 21
Okay.
was when we did the session in your basement.
Oh, okay.
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
probably
that would have been
around that
right.
time.
That would have been right when we were like gearing up to go into like gearing up to go into
getting
studio.
ready.
Yeah. That's cool.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, especially like I was saying, when you were bringing these songs to the band, really kind of getting into the arranging process beyond just like the initial songwriting. How do how you brought them to the band, like how they kind of grew and developed when you were arranging them? How did that process feel? Pretty different, and just like as the band has continued as an entity and continued to like grow and develop as an ensemble. Was there anything like stood out, or did it feel all pretty natural, even if it took time, as those things tend to do?
I mean, as far as I can remember from when we were arranging the songs for the EP, like way back when we first started, like you came to me with chord charts. You emailed me chord charts.
Oh,
And I was
really?
like, yeah, here, let me learn
Yeah.
these songs. And I said, there was that way. And then like with the Kate singles, like I always say this about Kate, like she doesn't write songs. She writes songs and guitars sometimes, never like a guitar player would though. And so it's always so, because, and I mean that in a good way. So
Yeah,
I'll
in a good
have
way.
to be like, how the hell am I supposed to play to this song? And then eventually over time, like with 3 guitar players, you slowly put together like a very delicate arrangement. But I think it was a lot of times you would just, one of the two of you would just come down and be like, I have this song. And you just sit down, you'd play it, and then I'd go like, fuck, I can't figure out what to play. I'm gonna just take my guitar off and listen.
Yeah.
And then Ted would figure it out right away.
I would just be like noodling and figure something out every single time. So, and it was always like, it was very easy just because like Kate and Autumn, like their songwriting feels very natural and like it's super easy to come up with a guitar part, at least in my mind, just because it's like, it's really obvious, like just to serve the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
sure.
know. So,
That's hard to
Yeah, that's
You're
yeah, no, for
definitely
real.
somebody that sits down and noodles. Like I
Yeah.
have to sit there and like,
No, yeah, it brings
No
like
way.
send me the
an
demo.
audio hallucination.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
that
like-
called? Audiation?
yeah, it's like that's like the only way I can write music.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
I
I'm
just have to
definitely
throw
firmly in the
everything at
Ted
the
camp.
wall.
Versus like if I just like noodle enough, then maybe something will reveal itself.
Throw the paint
Yeah.
at the wall.
yeah.
And I feel like too where I think it's grown or like changed too is like we're still doing the same thing. Like me and Kate will still come down and be like, hey, we have this song. We're finally ready to show you. I finally gotten over myself and I'm able to show you now. But like I think where it's been different is we're just now like closer and we're more like just open to be able to be like, oh, like maybe you should try something else, or like, hey, let's do a different like intro or like double that or something. Like we're just like more comfortable with each other, so more confident in like
things without like feeling like almost overbearing.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
Just, like, relating to the anxiety.
Exactly.
I think we're not afraid of like stepping on each other's toes anymore. Because it used to be so much of like we would have opinions and we would sit and just like not say them. And now it's like sometimes I think we'll hurt each other's feelings a little bit because we'll have very strong opinions. And then like we'll just be like, we can try it. But I think even getting not to get ahead of the record a little bit, like with the new songs we've been writing, it's just like immediate. Like we'll have like these arrangements like coming together, which is kind of crazy to think about how long it would take to arrange before, and now it's just like this is the sound, this is the song.
Do you think that is like more serendipitous, or like it is pretty clearly because of just like the growth and like the time spent working on the album?
The growth.
Yeah.
I think having a new drummer, like a new little like change up to our like instrumentation has been really great for us too. And she's just been drumming longer too. So she like, I feel like sets up a confidence that helps us to like just explore more. Like
that's super.
But we love you, Lydia.
Shout out Lydia.
I mean, and it's just different.
It's just different.
Like Grace is a fucking like hardcore drummer, like smacking the shit out of the drums.
It's true.
That'll always, I think, stand out, especially with drummers. Like, more so than almost any other member of a band.
Right.
Like, even as a listener, be able to be like, this is.
Like I remember it used to screw me up so much when she would come in on the song sometimes like
too loud.
Holy shit. Like on the beginning of it.
We started to start wearing earplugs like at practice.
That's good. Everyone should wear earplugs.
Yes, everyone should
or going
wear
to shows. And I'm a hypocrite, but we're working on it. Well, I bought them, but I forgot them in my car for the 80th consecutive time.
I actually have one earplug in my pocket right now. Just one though.
I'll find them in a pair of pants.
I've been like washing these pants with
like, I can't listen to you anymore. I don't need to hear these questions.
These are just my resident earplug shorts.
When did these songs start to really feel like Keep for Cheap songs versus like maybe little sketches that you were kind of working on and seeing where they were taking you? Because I know, I mean, just I don't want to project or presume anything, but like a song will start a certain way maybe, and then like I feel like there would be something that would kind of clarify and like click in your head. This is going to be a Keep for Cheap song versus something for I'm going to table for another day, or in case for a different project, or just anybody else like that. Was it more when the band kind of came together, or was there even like a point before that where you're like, this is going to be, I want to see this, how this would turn out as a Keep for Cheap song. I think this could be.
I feel like at this point, I have a pretty good understanding of like when I'm writing a song of like, oh, this would be a good Keep for Cheap song. Like I feel like I've kind of just from like, playing in the band, I've figured out what ones I want to introduce. But lately I've been holding myself back. So I feel like now I just have to kind of like rely on the band of like, hey, like I'm going to show you this song. It doesn't have to be a Keep for Cheap song.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the album, I feel like all of those ones I was pretty confident that they would be Keep for Cheap songs.
Yeah. There are some where it's like, like I know for sure, like when I start writing it, I'm like, this is definitely meant for this project.
If it's got the twang.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there have definitely been a couple that I've like shown you guys and we've been like, I don't know if this is the best vibe for us, and like that definitely happens. So it's not always like certain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I feel like there have been songs too, like Beside. I was like, I don't know if this is for this band.
Yeah.
Just because like I wasn't ever hearing it as like a full band song. But then like with the songs that you put on the album, like it fit, It was just like,
Yeah.
Well, and I think definitely the decision to have it be an acoustic song.
Yeah.
Just like super stripped down.
Yeah.
Like, because it fits, it's that breath in the end of the record. And then
sequencing, baby.
Yeah.
Cool. So with recording with Colin, how did that kind of connection develop, and what was that experience like working with them and bring these songs into the studio, kind of, as you mentioned before, starting to even like really figure out some of the songs that were a little bit fresher in the songwriting mind.
Yeah, I mean, well, like at one point, Dylan Hilliker had reached out to us about management, and like we were talking with him for a minute about doing that, and he had known Con and like introduced us to Con. So we didn't end up going through with Dylan. Shout out Dylan, but
Shout out Dylan.
but we did get that great connection out of that conversation, and yeah,
And Con I don't think he had recorded a full album before. I don't think he had. I think he had only done like I think he did an EP and like he done singles and stuff, and then he maybe did do Bad Bad Hat stuff, but I'm not.
yeah.
I think
maybe
he
for
did
like
the most
another
recent
band.
Bad Bad
Walkman,
Hats,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I think he did do Walkman.
Yeah.
But at the time, we were the first, so he was very, I think, eager to like do a full album. And it was like overall really good. I feel like we all meshed with him really well. He started to get our goofy vibes.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
like at first he was probably like, "What the fuck?" But no, yeah.
It was a challenge though.
Definitely, like I feel like because when we worked with Andrew back when we did the EP and everything, he was like just
Straightforward.
like he was
Whatever
like, you guys
we-
do whatever you want.
yeah.
Like would just listen to us. Didn't really like produce per se.
It was like more like recording
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. But
Definitely
Con
an
had
engineer.
many thoughts and opinions, which like have come to really sit well with me. But at first, like I had issues with it, honestly. Like, and we
was
all know
hard.
this. I was just like, oh my god, like this is not. It's taking a different course than I thought it would. So it was like, yeah, it was.
It's hard to like have a
Definitely
song and then
challenging.
have a like what you think the song is going to be, and then during the process it changes.
Yeah.
It's just like it's
I
hard.
was like, whoa, but
When
it's
from,
fucking cool
like,
now.
From
so.
like a new
Right,
kind of
yeah.
right.
point of view that you're like,
and we
you're
got
kind of coming
there.
in and
Yeah.
Yep.
almost
Right.
feels like you feel kind of reflexively defensive.
Yeah.
You totally
Yeah.
do.
And like it was such an alien process for me because like I had been so used to you go into the studio, you have these parts, you record them, maybe you overdub if there's something that you can't quite do. He was like we'd set up, we'd live track the song, and then he'd go, okay, great, and then maybe do one more take, and then he'd go, okay, don't play any of what you had prepared coming into the studio, and that freaked me out. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
next.
literally, he was like, Lydia, I'm taking away your symbols.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, we had to fight. We had to fight for the symbol.
Yeah.
And he'd like there was just like this specific vibe after every take. It was awesome because he'd like
It was
come
awesome.
out into the live room and he'd go like awesome, Autumn, great performance, really emotional. I really like that. Like, Kate, you're really holding it down. Lydia, you're really coming up with some interesting beats. Guitars, shredding.
Shred fest
Absolutely shredding.
Yeah. He
Very
was
hip.
every time.
yeah,
Very hip.
Just
absolutely
taking an
shredding.
Ozfest line or something.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But he was so great, and I think
Yeah.
like the decisions that he made, or like that he pushed us
Yeah.
to like, I guess, think of the songs differently and stuff. I mean, it ended up. Perfect. I mean, like I love how it ended up. So he really knew what he was doing. It was just definitely a learning.
Yeah.
experience.
It was cool.
Kind of continuing with that, Segway was, at least it was like the co-write billing, which is
Oh yeah.
interesting. Like, was that an in-studio thing, or like kind of talk
Yes.
about that
Yeah. So
development?
there was like a break that like there's just like a part towards the end of the song we didn't really know like the length of it or like what we were gonna do with that part. So he helped us figure out like the direction that section took and everything. And I think it really like
He
set it
added
up
in like within
at the end
in
there.
the studio. He added in because in the beginning, so obviously when we play, we don't have that piano or like the synth or whatever that's in the
Yeah.
beginning. That was a recording thing. So then in studio, he put that in the break, and that's kind of like really what made that section.
Yeah. And like he definitely like I feel like had a lot of influence over the dynamics of that song too as it was recorded. So
yeah,
yeah.
But that break goes to Con.
Yeah. Shouts out.
Shout out that I was thinking so hard about that piano bridge. I just poured coffee over myself. We've all been there. Yeah, but that kind of also segues. Pun not intended. It's spelled fucking differently. I did not know that like last year. And I was like, oh, it's Sigu.
Oh,
That's what that word means because they're pronounced the same.
Yeah.
So I'm just still
Sigu.
mad about that.
I hate that too.
Sigu.
You?
Pretty sure like my
Sigu.
mom like mocked me for that openly and just did not correct me. And I'm like, that's fair. That is pretty funny. All things considered. But
All things considered.
just kind of getting a little bit more into the thick of it with some of the songs. Like that was the lead single, obviously. But yeah, talk a little bit about just putting that song together, especially like prior to Con coming in, like adding like the piano part, like the evolution in the studio. Like, what were some kind of standout moments? We don't have to go like diaristic. Like, tell me how every line came to be.
Yeah. I feel like that one has been my favorite the longest. I don't know if it's currently my favorite, but that one definitely means like just a lot to me. And I think that one, when I wrote it, it was like a very, like it kind of like broke through this like thing for me in like songwriting. And I think kind of like inspired a lot of the other songs too. Is like, cause that was kind of like the marker I wanted to hit. Is like, I loved that vibe that I reached at that song.
Was that an earlier one? I'm guessing? Yeah.
I think that one was one of the, well, actually aside, I had been writing that one since 2018.
Okay.
But like that one I like stopped writing for a really long time, and it was way different from when I like reintroduced it to myself and then the band. But Segue I think was then I guess the second longest from that. And I wrote that one pretty quickly. I think I wrote that all in one day, which I never do.
That's sick.
Because I like will be like writing a song and I'll be like, oh, I hate this. And then I won't come back to it for like a year, literally. Yeah. So I think that was kind of cool. It's just like a burst of inspiration. But yeah, it's like about, I think I was reflecting a lot on like growing up north on the range and just feeling like distance from your childhood self and like where are you now? How do you get here?
Yeah. Beat. And I feel like that's like one of the bigger themes of the album too, like along with like the
100%.
lovey-dovey stuff is like just like I don't know, yeah. Loss of innocence, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
and like
wistful, but not like in a sad way.
Yeah, like I feel like just like also recognizing like time passing.
Yeah,
and like because I just feel like that's a big theme in my life right now too. Is just like being like realizing how fast things go and how like
trying to still have fun and
we're the closest that we'll ever be to our childhood youth self right now.
Well, it's definitely interesting for me because it's like, you know, playing in the band, like I can't hear you guys singing that well most of the time. And like, I'm so focused on playing my parts that I just like have to tune out the lyrics at a certain point. Like I know some of the lyrics, but then like I'll go back and I'll read the lyrics to these songs and I'm like, oh my God, these are really sad. These are like really touching. And like, this is definitely like, I mean, we're definitely like a coming of age movie band. You know?
New tagline.
Yeah. Also, like musically for Segue, when the guitars like established their parts and like it started being really twangy, and like I was like, hell yeah, like the song rocks.
Okay, that's
rocks
like my favorite part of that song. Like I love playing that because when it comes in,
very immediately it kind of establishes things, which is you hope for that with an opening track. So
there's a certain kind of energy to it. I feel like too, it really marked like where we really started to lean in the fact we're also kind of like a rock band. You know, there's like a certain energy to it that really comes through that was different from the EP stuff that had more of like that calm indie rock energy.
It was very like meandering, but in like a good way. These are a little more like
punchy, punchy rock.
Exactly.
Punch me in the face. Oh, that's so mean.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Like that rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
And I think that makes me think about like, because when we first went into the studio, when we were setting up, like Con just like put on some music and he was like, here's music that's like really inspired me as a producer. And so like, he put on that, oh crap, what is it?
Was it Katie Kirby?
That's what I was
he put on the Katie Kirby
Jessica
album, which is great. No, he put on the Feist album. And he put on some record from the 70s. I can't remember what it was.
I know.
But it was like
Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
No, it has a raccoon on it. That's all I remember. And the Jessica Lee Mayfield records. And it's all these records that are like very poppy, like very pop production, but they're like this meandering kind of 70s like super wide sound. And I think like because I think for a lot of people when they hear this record, if they've only heard like our earlier stuff, a lot of people have been like, it's very poppy, there's this very pop element, but like way more.
Did you not listen to Day Without You? That's a pop song.
Like one in terms of just production elements, it's super highly produced, but then like there's this kind of lazy 70s sound to some of the songs where it's just kind of it's just kind of there and it feels so effortless, and it was not.
It was not.
That's I guess the hope. Like I'm sure some bands want to be like, no, we want this to sound like so labored on. but like a lot of sounded kind of like breezy almost, or like a little bit more immediate instead of like
Effortless.
yeah.
No.
Coming soon to a salon near you. Yeah, just going down the line. Next song is "The Time." That was the third single. That's probably the fastest tempo. Definitely the most kind of
Yes.
in your face song.
For sure.
Got the fun little video that
Yeah.
Darling Joe
That was
helped
crazy.
make.
Darling Joe.
Joe.
Sorry, Joe, if that was weird. But yeah, talk a little bit about that one. Especially, all the songs have like their own like distinct feeling, distinct vibe, and like distinct. They stand on their own. But I feel like The Time especially kind of like stands out,
Yeah.
if only just because of how kind of
yeah. It's just
driving
so
and-
fast. Yeah.
fast it is. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
We always say that's our post-punk space rock song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just cruising down the fucking
Yeah,
galaxy.
seriously,
you
that's
know?
all it is. Like there was
Fast
someone
cars.
who tweeted something about like, sorry, I was speeding. I was listening to The Time by Keep for Cheap. And I just feel like that describes the vibe of it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and I feel like the
Music to
words and the
speed, too.
music, like they're not super like related as far as I feel like I have songs where the music and the words like correspond a lot better because they are kind of like tender lyrics a little bit, but like I don't know. It's also just their lyrics about like motion, so that song is very like
Yeah, and like
moving.
like the last chorus is all about like, or the verse section of the song is like all about like wanting, like
Yeah, go go go.
yeah.
Well, because like, I
I
remember
would
when
like
you
to progress.
when you first brought the song to us, it did not sound like the way
No,
it does.
yeah.
I think Ted and I
we
just both
sped it
went.
up too in the studio.
Ted and I
I
both
think.
just like were like distortion pedals. Yeah,
yeah,
And then
for
it
sure.
completely that single choice completely changed the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's also like kind of sludgy too at the same time.
Yeah, like the break part halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like almost sounds like you said it's a tender lyrics, but it's also like sounds like really frustrated.
Yeah,
too.
it
It's
is
like,
kind of frantic.
yeah.
like,
It's
yeah.
like like I'm fed up with myself. I
Yeah.
have the time. Like
yeah, dude.
like I don't want
Screaming in the mirror.
Yeah,
like,
like-
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
a
I'm drunk on champagne. Oh my god. Did any of those even make the record? I don't think. We were
Sure,
like,
what are you doing, buddy?
Sherman.
You probably she's just
Sherman
another
kitty.
squirrel.
love
Don't eat that, dude.
no Sherman.
Dude. Okay.
Christmas cactus.
Get out of here, Sherman. Sherman, what do you have to say?
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
We had to take a Sherman break there.
Sherman's talking into the mic.
You just had Sherman's opinion. That
What are your feelings
that
on
was
the
Sherman?
album bundle by the band Keep You just looks at you like, what the hell did you say to me?
he says I like checkout.
I like fish piss.
The funny one. Oh yeah, he likes fish piss.
He doesn't realize that that's a song.
All the cats.
Well, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you had any more. Anything
Yeah,
to add.
that's pretty much all I got for that one.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
else has
love
anything?
playing on that one.
That one's very fun to
Yeah.
play
So
live.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes too quick.
Yeah,
It's
it does
over
go by
before-
too
it's
fast.
Like we get to the halfway point of the song, and I'm like, I'm already playing the guitar
Yeah.
solo.
Damn.
I'm already soloing right now. Am I doing this?
And I just
Like out of
I
body.
just wanna
Yeah.
and I wanna do more of those songs. I feel like
Yeah,
that's I just
yeah.
wanna do more.
I think, yeah.
yes.
Album
think that's
full of
what I want.
up-tempo bops.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
rock,
baby.
rock and roll.
rock
For
album.
now, we're actually just writing our more
Soft.
even more psychedelic, even more
Yeah.
soft, even more country songs. Sneak peek, sneak preview.
Yeah, sneak peek, the opposite of what we just talked about. Cool. Moving on. Next song is "Hide My Emotion." That is like unofficial, like fourth single because it got like the music video and everything
Yeah,
that B helped
yes.
make, which is great. Yeah, talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah. That one is definitely like the most, well, I don't know if it's the most lovey. Like On the Floor is definitely, I feel like, more lovey. This one's more about just like having those feelings and not knowing what to do with them and just like trying to like keep them inside. But then by keeping them inside, you're actually causing more harm to yourself than you would if you would just let yourself explode and feel them.
The yearning
Yeah.
anthem, if you will.
Yeah.
Big
And
gay
it's-
country gay country love ballad.
Big
Big
gay
gay
lunch
country
is not a
love.
book.
Yeah,
Big gay brunch.
That's naked lunch.
Big gay brunch song.
When you're
But yeah,
speeding to the original
it's-
Pancake House.
It's very like first queer love song
Yeah.
too, because like
Yeah.
I mean that's truly what it is, like just like feeling those queer feelings and literally not telling anyone about them because you don't feel like you can feel them, but you can. And you should.
The takeaway.
The takeaway, you should.
Please feel.
Call to action, please feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that one too was, in terms of how we play it, we really leaned into the country, and that is just so
There's
fun.
even like, I don't know if it was conscious, but it feels like there's more twang even in your voice.
Yeah, people
Like-
have actually asked me that too.
Yeah.
I definitely leaned into that for sure. Even like as I was writing it, I knew I was like, this one I want to be country. And even like way back to when I was like writing it, like I was getting visuals that are like was in the music video. Like from the start writing that song, I was like, I want a rural
want
bar.
cowboy hats.
Like this is like just what I was like envisioning.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to come to life like that.
Nice. Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah.
Gay.
Yeah.
Queer thoughts,
They're dangerous and they're coming
Loud,
for you.
loud guitars.
but loud
Agenda.
guitars.
But loud
Big ba-da-da does at the end there.
Yeah, that ending was cool. We're all screaming we're all singing at the end of that one. There's a few group gang vocals in the album, and that's a cool part.
Yeah.
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 You gotta do like the hardcore gang vocals. so,
Annihilation,
like-
annihilation.
give her. No, we're not interviewing Baumgartner, Ted. Stop it.
Those
Take
those
over.
gang vocals off the Baumgartner EP are funny
I
though.
can't
Like if you
wait
take
to
them out of
hear.
context, it's just
Whenever they take like rappers ad libs just like on their own, you solo the
start
shouts.
ad-libs.
Yeah.
Doing
my
ad-libs.
voice never blends. My voice always sticks out like in these gang vocals, and you can really hear it on Baumgartner. But this is not about Baumgartner.
Yeah. I apologize for bringing it up.
Yeah. It's not my
You've
fault.
done.
I'm not the egotistical one here. I'm kidding.
Violence at the podcast
Wow.
interview.
Okay.
Podcast
What's the next
Go
song?
The next song is
on the floor.
another
Grounding.
very kind of gay yearning anthem,
Yes.
which I don't know if that was a
So-
conscious like track listing decision.
Yes,
Four on
it
the floor.
was like for 4 on the floor, but
your
then
techno
also
song.
like hide my emotion into on the floor, because like just like in the true timeline of life, that's how it works, or like
Yeah.
I don't know, explain that weird, but like like on the floor is about, okay, I have these emotions, I've expressed them, now what? Now it's work, and like you gotta do things
clean
to
your room
like
and stuff.
yeah, you gotta like clean out the spiders in your closet, and like
The spiders.
and like there's also a line in Hide My Emotion that is on the floor. What would you think of my heart left on the floor? So then I think that was kind of cool going
Yeah.
into on the floor, but I didn't even notice that until after.
That's
But
cool.
yeah. And that one, I feel like I have a rough relationship with that one. I'm starting to really like it, but I used to really love that song, and then for some reason stopped, and I didn't want to play it live as a full band. I was like just like self-conscious. It's very much, it has like that like the beginning is a long like part where it's just me singing, and I think that's like not just me singing, but like it's quiet and soft,
Yeah.
and I think it's hard to be vulnerable.
Very exposed.
Yes, it is.
And
And I'm like, oh, my heart. Da, 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 like, so it's hard to be lovey like that in front of strangers all the time. But I'm starting to, I'm starting to really like that. We played that at 7th Street last week, and it was awesome.
I also feel like our confidence in playing that one live has like a big difference on like how it's received. I feel like originally, like the first few times we played it, we weren't so sure of it, and it's also like not as loud and like fast as our other songs, so maybe people weren't like super
Yeah.
enthralled. But like
Yeah.
lately, we've been like, you know, we know what we're
Confident.
doing and we're
More
confident. We have fun. We have
Yeah.
fun with it now.
And
so
those
it's
early
like,
shows
yeah.
were us coming back and like
That's
not
so true.
playing in the same context, like because we played
Yeah.
that Part Wolf and that gig.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was there
the
to
Pride
see
gig.
us,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know, which
True.
it is a huge difference.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Because now people are. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, playing that
Kill
last
Part
show where like there were people there to see us at the entry, but it was like so
Also
many
for-
new people.
Yeah.
and they were fucking going ape shit
Yeah.
for us. Like I
Bro,
took
that
my
was-
shirt off and they were like,
Yeah, they.
well, because I took my, I was really hot.
was
Okay.
I was really hot. I
just
took
say
off my
that. It's like, are you the Chili Peppers now? Like,
And it was like I was really hot, so I took off my guitar to take off my shirt, and they were like, "No, don't stop shredding." And I was like, "I'm really hot, and I'm taking off my shirt." Okay.
And they're like,
It was so funny.
And they were like, waving my shirt around.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Put it down. Give me my shirt back.
Oh my lord.
I need that for later."
yeah,
mine.
That's goofy as hell.
That's very goofy.
yeah.
It was wacky
And
and silly.
Yeah, but that song, I really like how we, like all the dynamics of that song, like how it builds on
Yeah.
the floor. It's
Yeah.
sorry, it's our Waxahachie song. I was inspired by Waxahachie when I wrote it.
Shout out
Yeah.
to St. Cloud.
Yeah, and that album really inspired
that
this
was, like,
album
big.
because
Yeah.
Recording and writing.
Yeah. Now that you say it, like, I'm like, yeah.
I was
there's a very good through line, I think. There.
Yeah.
Tracks
on
in
the
best
floor
way.
and Segway are definitely like, I mean, the whole album because I listened to St. Cloud like on repeat that when it came out.
You and my 35-year-old coworker who just like wouldn't stop playing. And we're like, dude, play it 4 times today. Stop.
Let's drink
It's
the
good,
water.
but stop.
Yeah.
Let's drink
Uh,
the water.
We'll have a little musical interlude here. Yeah. Next is the funny one.
Yeah.
Check out.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
The party
it wasn't like the second or
song.
third time when like I paid more attention to the lyrics. Or like especially like the Libertine line. That's just like so funny.
Yes.
It's
Thank
like
you.
being in the liquor store, just like
Literally.
like just feeling kind of overwhelmed, but you're also like, fuck all you people.
Yeah, literally, like, fuck all you, fuck all this shit in here.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I doing? That's like kind of that song.
But
It's
we're
just
gonna
like a
ball
college
out.
song. It's like, I don't know what's going on. Everything is like a lot. The world is fucked up, but like, I'm getting drunk tonight.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, like, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That's pretty much all there was to that. And,
Consumption.
I wrote that, like, the chords and like that riff. I was like, the lyrics need to not be like so serious for this one. Yeah. Yeah. And then we have like the slow, like the trippy part at the end. Yeah.
The clapping in it.
Yeah,
I love
that one was
that
very
shit.
fun to like mess with in the studio. Because like we were talking about earlier, we didn't really have that one put together like as much before we recorded it. So it kind of like the
feel
vibes
like
solidified in the
The
studio and
wind
it was
came under its
fun.
wings in the
Yeah.
studio.
Like that whole ending, we didn't really know.
Yeah, no,
because
we didn't know.
Yeah.
what
We had it like slow down, but then we would speed up. But then we were kind of like,
Yeah, we were
we
trying
don't
to,
know.
but
And
we
then
didn't.
we just kept it
Yeah.
slow, and it was sick,
nice.
and it was a slow,
It
like the
worked out
jam
really
with
well.
Bert's solo.
Yeah.
and that was kind of. Had you written that or
No,
that
he
was-
just made me sit on the floor. Like it was just me sitting on the floor, being like, I don't know what to play, and I couldn't I could barely hear what was going on. And that on the record is just what I
It's so good.
accidentally
It's
played.
so
I
fucking
accidentally
good.
did a Jerry Garcia solo.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
And I've been
for me.
trying for months to recreate it. And I got
Yeah.
the first like couple bars, and then I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pentatonic. I will figure it out.
That's always the fun part where like you improvise something and like it ends up on the record. You're like, do I just keep improvising? Do I recreate it because I don't remember what I was doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just blacked
exactly
out and something took over.
But I also say that's our Big and Rich song. But it's our Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy
Well, yeah,
song.
it's like it's so many different things. It's like it's kind of got that like Benny and the Jets, like Elton John, like in studio offbeat clapping kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and like it's our Weezer song because it's got
Yeah.
the like it's got the like, hey man, I'm so stoked for the party,
Yeah.
dude, far out.
No
That's
room
true.
to push my car.
Yeah.
Sorry, now it's like I can't.
Yeah, like
I
those
can't talk about
harmonies
these
are
songs
really
without
good.
You can't like,
singing
read
them.
the lyrics. You
Yeah.
can't just say the lyrics.
I know. I need to be
Stacked up harmony.
playing it.
Cool.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, those harmonies were really cool, fun
That
to
was fun to
record.
do, yeah.
That like was fun in the studio. Like
I wanted to briefly interject to relay this. Right when the album came out, we were driving, I think, either to Chicago or from Chicago on tour.
Oh, cool.
And Nathan was passed the fuck out the whole time, but Sam and I were listening to it, and Sam would not shut up about how much he loves the harmonies and like the arrangement wise, because like it's just like interesting intervals and just like it's like wow, you're putting into words what to me it's just like harmony nice. Like, oh yeah, that's why these are so cool. But
That's-
And I feel
wanted
like
to
that's-
Thank you.
pass along the
Thank you, Sam.
compliment.
Thank you so
and
much.
Echo it.
Thank you so much. I'll say Kate is like so talented with harmonies. I just have to quickly shout out Kate because like I feel like I'm pretty good at like intuitively doing harmonies, but like I just do like the ones that are just like the easiest. And Kate's like, oh, but if you do it just like a little 2 steps higher, then it's this cool thing or whatever. Like,
I swear to God,
I just do the third. I just do the third, and she's like, no, do it this way. And it's like just changes it. So yeah,
We do love a good third harmony, though.
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's
And I'll
classic.
still do the third
Yeah.
sometimes.
You got it. You got
Classic
You got
for
it.
a reason. Yeah.
it.
Bless.
I forgot to ask. Actually, I forgot to ask about this before, and this is almost unfortunate, given like it's much more serious than the last song. I forgot to ask before we started.
No.
With Aside,
Oh yeah.
did you want to talk about that whole thing at all?
We
'Cause
totally can.
A-okay if
Yeah.
not, because it doesn't really have anything to do with the actual song itself.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
we can. It's part
Don't
of the
feel
journey.
pressured, but like
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine what it was like to actually like
was
experience
hard.
that beyond like,
Oh, yeah.
watching it from the outside and be like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
The
It was
internet discourse was the worst part.
honestly the worst part. Yeah, was just
Like-
everyone just giving their opinion about it afterwards,
Was-
and people who were just like there to.
And people
Fight
assuming
about it.
that it was some sort of PR scandal. That was
Yeah, what the
wild.
fuck?
I had never expected that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did.
no,
At least of all you guys. Like,
Yeah.
Literally, I know. And it was just people who didn't know us. But
Well, do we want to
Yeah.
explain for
yeah,
those
yeah,
that don't
let's
know?
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is about the song Aside. And what we can talk about, I want to talk about the music and like the song itself,
Yeah.
of course, as well.
Yeah.
But there was some internet kerfuffle, to put it way too nicely, or just people being mean. But want to
Yeah,
explain
so-
that from your
Yeah.
perspective.
So we originally named the song Minnesota, which in Minnesota, I mean, I guess that is a
Right.
It's
common
such a
like
ubiquitous
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, it's like
feels
I've
so
never
innocuous,
questioned-
right,
yeah.
and we just had never thought twice about it until like someone actually from another label reached out to our label and said, hey, and they were Indigenous folk, and they're like, hey, Minnesota is an Indigenous word, it's a Dakota word, and
Yeah.
by you changing it is like profiting off
Well,
of
and taking ownership
Yeah.
as like you know settlers.
Like, oh, it's
you know,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
yeah, right. And like, I totally get it. We put out a music video too that's like us playing in the snow and stuff, and like it's just it. I mean, I understood that. We understood that, and we made the decision to change it, and that was not the hard part.
Yeah.
No.
The, like people reacting to that, like I don't know why
Yeah,
they
dude.
just made it such a big deal. Like it was such a big change. It was like it literally was like took us like a day to change it, and we did it because that was the
also
right
like,
thing
like
to do.
waiting on the distro, not even like deciding as a band.
Literally, all you
Yeah.
had to do is like I had to find the person to message them and be like, "Hey, we have to change this," and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
Process in 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, dude.
But
I think some of the criticism, people that were assholes, and also people that were like actually leveling like reasonable criticism,
Yeah.
was that like so. Like a lot of people there, they were like, "This is not that big of a deal," and then we made kind of a big deal about it when
Yeah.
we because we wanted to be as clear as possible
Yeah.
as to why and to own up to it as much as possible. But in that way, it almost, I in hindsight look at that post and be like, okay, I can see where it would look a little performative,
Yeah.
just because like we were just trying to be as careful as possible. And so like, you know, you had the internet trolls being like, oh, self-flagellation, these white snowflakes, they just want to blah blah blah. But then like there were actually people
Yeah.
of Indigenous descent coming to us and being like, this is
Yeah.
nothing. Why are you making such a big deal about this? This reads to me
Right.
like you were trying to do this thing. So it's like, I'd say all in all, we changed it. We listened, and like I think it's telling that we didn't handle it pitch perfect A-OK perfectly because we had
For
no
real.
idea what we were supposed
there's
to
Right,
do.
what
there
is
is
the
a
perf-
way
yeah,
to
what
do
is the
that.
it was our
perfect way to
first time
handle
ever
it? Like,
dealing with
Yeah.
literally,
thing
literally.
like this. And
For real.
Like I don't know, and in some conversations I had with some people, I was like, well, like even if you personally don't feel affected by this, it affected somebody.
Right.
Enough
And
to like say
it's
something.
enough to say
Right.
something to the point where it's like, okay, it's not going to affect us at all to change this.
Yeah.
But if it makes some people feel, you know, like less
For real.
bad, or I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's so, you know,
Yeah.
it's so specific. Like it's literally like we could never understand.
right.
Yep.
And that's
you know,
why
and it's
we
not our fucking place to say
To
anything
fight
about
against
it.
that,
Yeah.
you know, be
Like,
like,
like, was
yeah.
it kind of like when I woke up that morning to like all of the stuff about it? I was
Yeah.
like, what?
I know. It was really
it was
And then
wild.
it took me like all of 15
Yeah,
minutes to
literally.
like kind of go, okay, actually this makes a lot of sense.
right,
Now I get it.
literally.
For real.
And I think we in hindsight we reacted very seriously, but I think at that time, that was, I mean, we hadn't heard any other perspective other than that one person. So it's like and that was very serious. And we weren't in a position to like rebuke what they said or
No.
So we just responded like, hey, like this is, we got this serious remark. We're responding seriously. And then people are like, oh, it's not that serious. I'm like, okay, well, I get, some people can think that and some people
Different
can't.
people are going to respond.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like,
Elevation.
but like the trolls on the internet, it's like, and so many people,
like,
they're just
what?
white people. And I'm like, why are you even saying
Why are you fighting
anything?
about
Yeah.
this?
Why are you even saying anything? Like,
Literally log off.
and literally, like, you don't
like
even
white
know.
tankies that are like identity politics are ruining the movement. I'm like, God, shut
Tankies,
up.
shut
Get
up.
off your computer.
Yeah,
It's like, you don't even know us. Like, you don't even
Literally.
follow us. Why do you care?
Go read Mao under a tree or
Touch it.
something and fuck
Yeah,
off.
literally. Yeah.
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 Anyways, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful song. Do we want to talk about
Yeah.
the actual song?
Yes.
Yes.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah. That one was the longest, or like the song I've been writing the longest. Because 2018 is when I started writing it, and it was like super, super different. Lost my train of thought.
Okay.
I feel like that one is kind of also about you growing up north.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I started writing it up north, actually. I think it's too, I don't know, winter is such a big thing up north. Like, I grew up in northern Minnesota. They have really, really long winters, and they're terrible. The city's winters are nothing compared to up north. Seriously.
I was gonna
And it's
tell us
bad
all
down
right
here,
now.
but it's like bad up there. My school bus
understand.
used to break down on the way to school because it was so cold. One time it happened twice on the way to school, or like broke down. We had to get on a new bus, and then that bus broke down too. Anyway, so I feel like that it's kind of like about, and also up there it feels so isolating, and like we grew up on a lake, so in the middle of a winter it's literally like you're on this lake and it's frozen and there's just tundra for miles around you, and I think that can just like make you feel a lot of things, and I think this song is kind of about that, especially like in the instrumentation and like I guess the lyrics too.
Yeah. It's definitely, like the lyrics are sad. Very sad sounding. And I don't know if I'm correct. When did you write this in relation to Hide My Emotion?
I don't know.
Okay. So I feel like at one point you told me it was kind of about like the same feelings as Hide My Emotion, but I could be wrong. Like from a more like sad standpoint. But I feel like the timing doesn't really necessarily make sense.
Yeah.
The
I
lore's
don't know
not
if I'm.
adding
I
up.
don't know
The
if it's correct.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. It probably is. I mean,
Yeah.
those feelings are in me, so they're probably going to both
Yeah, that
songs.
happened once at one time and then
There you
it's done.
go.
I wrote a song about it. It's
Like,
done.
It's over.
especially like the lyric,
went for a
like
walk. Now you're not
head
sad
hung
anymore.
head hung in shame, I stay
Yeah.
away.
I
Like,
can't identify these feelings I tuck aside.
Yeah. Mhm.
Which, like, I don't know. I feel like I relate to that one too, just in the winter in general. Like, you're sad.
Yeah.
I feel like you said that already, but like, it's a really good like song for that. Yeah.
When like your regular depression like starts working out,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Why are you hitting the gym now, asshole? I can't even go outside."
Yeah. No, I mean, I that song rocks so
Yeah,
much.
that
Like
song
to
is
put it
fucking
simply,
good.
I mean, because I think this is a big thing with this band, and like we're very centered in place. We're centered in the place that we're from. Like we talk
Yeah,
about, like we're
yeah.
a prairie rock band. We've got all these different elements, like because the Midwest is weird. The Midwest is really weird. We don't
Yeah.
have like a fucking cultural identity like at all.
Besides like flat, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Stupid ass food,
like,
like-
I was looking, they put out that map a few weeks ago or months ago or whatever that was like the drunkest counties.
Yep.
And it's like Scott County, fucking
Wisconsin.
yeah, all of
Like, it's all
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
you know, all this shit. And I was just like, yeah, this makes sense. You know, so it's like this song. It's definitely like there's so much to this music. I think that like you could only write being from Minnesota.
Yeah,
like and it's so
seriously.
specific. But it's hard to explain too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and I think this song really does capture that like isolated sadness.
Yeah.
But if you look at the music video, it's like the whole idea was
fun.
like we were like, oh, it's snow day. It's like home movies. Like
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
talking when we were filming, and we were like, man, I wish that we were friends when we were little kids.
Yeah,
We
we
were
were.
having a really fun
Yeah.
time.
And you could just see we were at full kids at that day, and
so
it was so
fun.
awesome.
That was
So
so
it's like jubilee within the sadness of winter, like. And I think that's kind of like Minnesota too. Like that's why I wanted to name it for the state, because I just do have so much love for the state. And like being from up north, I have always like Minnesota is underrated as fuck, and like especially like northern Minnesota, it is so beautiful. And like I just do feel a lot of, I know we all do too. Like I feel very loyal to Minnesota. And I guess that's where I came from when wanting to name the song, was like kind of a tribute to the state.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta throw a snowball about it.
Yeah.
So true.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And then the ending, that's another group vocal, gang vocal.
Yeah.
On the-
We're having fun with that.
And that
in
one,
the
came up with that on the drive to the studio. That
Like
little.
Han being like, you're too flat. There's not enough emotion. And then like
then
this,
we're all like,
ew. Okay, you gotta find a middle ground.
You took it up to 11. We need like a 6 or maybe an 8.
I'm getting too much. Ooh.
Sound like the grape lady from that old YouTube video.
oh my god.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Get her on the next LP.
Nice.
Cool. Well, we already kind of talked on this a little bit, but the next one is the solo Kate song.
Oh yeah.
Beside, as I'm sure if you're following along, you got your notes open. By that I mean Spotify, probably. Yeah, if you want to talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's it's a love song pretty much, but it's also about like the way I function too. So it's like I don't know. It's very it needs to be a quiet song. I think it needed to be a quiet song.
The lyrics are so good.
Thank
I
you.
love the lyrics to that song.
Thank you. I don't know. It just like is what it is. I don't know if I have too much to say about that
that's
one
fair.
really.
Yeah.
If you guys do, yeah.
But
but-
like I like that
Pass
song,
the
like I
mic.
said, because it feels like you're in the room with you.
Yeah.
Like it's so intimate. Because like the record's like epic.
Yeah,
the
that's
record's
so
so
true.
epic and so big, and we have. There's this tangible in the room feeling on most of the songs, but like you feel like when you're listening to that song, at least I do.
Yeah.
Like I could hear a fucking pin drop in that room if there were one to happen,
That's
like
cool.
I can hear this like creak almost,
Yeah.
like in just like
Well-
I can hear how still you are.
Yeah, and I
It's
think we
like-
did record that one like
Live.
guitar vocals at the same time, like room mic. So like, I'm sorry, I keep talking like out of my microphone, but yeah. So like that one, I think that makes sense because I think we did literally record it like that. But that's cool to hear. I like that.
I just remember, I think that was the last song y'all played, or you played
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the live sessions where we were always like sitting on the floor.
Yeah, I had the
yeah.
cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you looking like Woody Guthrie.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And that one's really
Took me
cool. Like
20
we've
takes.
been starting to do that in shows now too. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess only our album.
Well, yeah,
show
and
them.
like that one and Checkout are in the same weird tuning too. So like we kind of have, if we play one, we are more likely to play the other two.
Yeah.
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 Logistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then a cool thing, when we recorded that, Con gave us a couple options. Like he gave us a pitch
Yeah.
down, or didn't he?
Yeah,
he
no, there
gave
was
us
like
a
an option with more like bass in it, kind of
And
like
he
more
did this,
ambient
like,
stuff.
tape recorder. Remember?
Oh yeah,
He
that
like
was
put
cool.
it through, like, so he recorded our song and then he put it through this like tape
Yeah,
thing
through a
and
tape
then
machine.
took that out. And it sounded really crazy. We didn't use that one.
Yeah.
No,
but
yeah,
it was really
cool.
cool.
I
It
think
sounded
that's
like
maybe layered
old.
in there a little
I
bit.
think
or
so.
something.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what
Just
ends up
subtly.
on the record is this synthesis.
Yeah,
Synthesis of all three of those things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Sick.
Last but not
yeah.
least,
His piss.
Fish Piss.
Piss piss. Piss piss. Every time I write fish piss in my phone for the set, it changes it to piss piss.
Piss, piss.
Yes. That one, I
Is
think.
that an actual fish fact? Do fish piss
Well-
before they lay their eggs? I didn't do
Well-
my research.
Well, what I meant by that, and actually people have said that.
Oh, is it just it's just a metaphor.
Well, actually, so there's a couple things. Emily from Bugsy taught me, well, it's a fact, but they did teach me this, that fish have the one hole. What's it called? Cloaca. And so they're constantly, it's like the hole is always open and they're constantly fishing, pissing and shitting and, you know, coming and all that stuff. Having their babies.
Content warning on this episode.
Sorry.
All the excrement
Having
all
their
the
babies.
time.
Fish goop.
All at the same time. And
Gunk,
it's,
whatever.
but they're doing this all at the same time constantly and they're living in that shit and that pile of their own stuff all the time, and they're all are, and that's their little community is
This
in
is your
their
gore
stuff.
grind song.
literally. And so I just think that was like, I don't know, it was inspiring to me. And then also like this was this is like the COVID isolation song because I really wrote this like frustrated as hell that I couldn't see people. And it was like that was like the main song that I wrote like in like isolation.
That makes sense 'cause
period.
you're doing everything in the same place.
What?
That makes sense now, but to me because you do everything. You
Yes.
We're all doing like everything
Oh, that's
in the
cool.
same place.
Yeah,
Like,
you're kind of
almost
like
stuck in
trapped
their house.
trapped in your shit. And it's also like inspired. I feel like so much the album isn't like inspired of like my home up north because like I feel like I'm been away from it now for like 5 years or something. So it's finally just kind of like feeling as something that's separate from me. So I feel like so much the album was inspired from like my home up north and like on the lake. And I think like lake especially is like relates to this song. Like as I was writing, I pictured myself like floating in the middle of a lake and like sinking to the bottom. And like obviously the lyrics are very directly tied to that. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like just feeling all the bad shit, just getting it out. Like I crumble down to the bottom now.
Yeah. I mean, that one has ties to me to segue because you mentioned this time, your story when you were young, when I was 4 years old, I almost drowned, which is like, I feel like if that happened to me, like that would stick with me, bro. And that would like make its way into my head a lot. So when we play Fish Piss, I often think, are you remembering that and shit?
Yeah, definitely.
That accidental bookend, you know.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's
Yeah.
true. First and last.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did almost drown.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that'd be
No,
the
I
thing to
see.
lie about.
I know.
Like,
Thank you think about it.
Yeah, I just
JK.
lied.
for the poetry. And it's like, okay.
Oh yeah.
We all take liberties.
Well, it's definitely a doom song. Like
Yeah.
Gore grind and doom metal.
Yeah.
I want to play that black metal solo live too.
The world's like
This is, like-
tiniest like tremolo. Just,
I also like I
this was
can't
recorded on a toaster.
I can't lie that this like I'm also very inspired. Like Phoebe Bridgers released her Punisher album around the same time, and I feel like this song was like inspired by her closer, which is I Know the End or whatever, and she's got the screaming and like it's kind of like the same like acoustic in the beginning and stuff. So definitely inspired by that.
Yeah.
But cooler. Just kidding.
But your song's more about fish piss.
Yeah, it's more like about
And
fish
shit.
piss,
And also piss and shit.
Come.
Other stuff.
eggs.
Art
We'll say fish eggs.
Fill in the blank. We don't need to go into depth. Too late, Bert.
It says yeah, we do.
Before Bert just starts naming off other excrements,
Excrement.
we can move on.
I mean, we could put on a little bit of torso fuck, and we can get going.
Oh my
as a
God.
study.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bert's fired from the band.
I'm done.
I'm not gonna lie, Pissgrave is the vibe right now. You know?
Right, mute his mic.
Yeah. Joe, cut that.
Cut the mic.
Yeah, that brings us to the end.
Phase.
I was like, are they even there? Amazing. Cool. Yeah, that sums about what I wanted to talk about with the album. Before we go too much further, I want to ask about the tour. You went out in July with Victoria.
yes.
Victoria, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Victoria
both.
Park, Victoria Park.
Yeah.
Both.
The legend themselves. Yeah, talk a little bit about that, like some of the
Oh, it was
highlights.
so
and just,
fun.
I think first tour
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, great first tour. Well, not for
Okay,
Bert.
Bert.
Not for me.
Bert's like,
Bert's like, I went to Canada when I was in high school. But yeah, it was really, really great. Like, and I feel like Grace was so new to the group too, and that really solidified her in the
Like a
group.
bonding
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and like so that was like we really bonded. And
How many shows did we play with her before
Like
we went?
one.
Was it one or two?
No.
It was
we
the
played
Remo
in
show.
Morris.
Morris,
Morris,
Yeah.
Remo,
and then Treasury.
the Treasury.
So maybe three.
3.
Well, then the
Still.
like counting the
And the
Oh yeah, and the
release
release
show.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4. I forgot about Morris, dude.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
That was fun as hell.
But
That
yeah,
was
the
a
tour.
lot of fun.
That hurt the next day.
Yeah, that's so true.
So bad.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
We're never going back to Morris.
That's not related
Yeah.
to tour.
We're not allowed back in
But
that
the tour
town.
was great. But yeah, like first shows out east was,
It was awesome.
everyone loved us. It was which was great to hear.
Everyone was
Like
so cool.
yes.
Yeah.
Like the community out in upstate New York was just unbelievable.
Everyone was
Yeah.
very outgoing and friendly.
Yeah, we played this
And, like,
one.
direct.
Like all of them were like venues besides this one that was a house venue, and it was like crazy. It was a suburb of Albany called
Slingerland.
Slingerlands, and then the house was called Sheeptown, and it was like this crazy like dirt road that we didn't know
Oh my God,
if we
yeah.
could go up it. 'Cause it was like
I
crazy.
like, I know how
We're in
people
the
feel
right
about their
place.
private property, and I do not
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
drive up this driveway.
Yeah.
It was like, and there's
scary.
just like cardboard signs that with the number on it.
This crushed
Yeah.
car. sitting
Yeah,
in front.
for real.
Yeah.
It was
Sheeptown.
wild. It was cool.
But yeah, and then Pictoria Vark was great. They
Yeah.
were great tour mates, and like
Yeah,
we
dude.
loved everyone in that band.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
it was awesome.
I've been saying that tour went. It's statistically improbable that we would have had as good of a time as we did. Nothing went wrong. Like you stepped on a fucking bee.
Yeah, I did.
I left our
Stepped on a
cash
bee.
somewhere,
And
but we
then,
got
like,
it mailed
Yeah.
back to us.
And one of the
fucking-
sound guy in Brooklyn
yeah.
was kind of a douche, and that
Oh
was like
my
it.
God.
And that was
Yeah.
it.
The
Everything else
Brooklyn
went
guy.
Brooklyn sound guy?
Yeah.
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 What?
Yeah,
Like, I'm saying, like,
Bushwick, huh?
it's like when you're on tour, like when you're on the road, it doesn't even have to be tour. Like it's like you're in an RPG on the overworld. You get those random encounters. All of them were good for us. Everything
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
good. Literally, except for the Hornet. You stepped on that Hornet. Yeah, that was. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Emo.
And that sound guy was a dick to everybody, and it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a bonding experience.
Yeah.
So,
There's shared camaraderie
and
over
then we got
the
COVID,
dick
which is-
issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did get COVID. That was sad.
Yeah.
But we made it through the end
Yeah,
of that. So
testing negative until we got home. So.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we felt the adrenaline wear
Yeah,
Oh no, yeah.
yeah.
But like something
Yep,
Ted
that's
said
so
when we
true.
were like on the road that like just felt so true is you're like tour is just free falling. Like
Yeah.
literally
I
like
know it
You
is.
like go up to the top first stop, and then you're just like, oh,
because
my
it
fucking
felt
God.
crazy. Like you're going, yeah, it just
It's like that
felt
giant fly in
crazy.
Michigan that was like launching people and like was gonna like hurt somebody, so they had to close it down. So yeah. Like too much air, except like
Oh my
you just
God.
stay in the air.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God.
when am I
And then
gonna
you
hit the
slowly,
bottom?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
literally,
hate that. I hate
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the disorientation of waking up in a different city
Yeah.
every day and just like sitting in
Waking
that
up on a
van
floor, you're
and-
like,
Yep.
Yep.
We're so lucky though that we like had as many stable places to
Yeah,
stay.
we had some
and,
good
like,
people were
good
very
access to
nice.
showers.
Yeah.
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 Oh, we didn't even eat that disgusting of food either.
No,
No,
like,
we
it was
good.
very
Pretty
little
good.
gas
Rub it
station
in.
food.
Come
it was
on.
very little gas station food.
Yeah.
We ate pretty good.
We had that cooler.
Yeah, the
made those ham
cooler.
sandwiches before we went to the
Ham
beach. That was pretty
sandwich.
We went
epic.
to the beach one
Oh,
day
that
and
was
it was
awesome.
that would
so
be a good idea.
Yeah.
I would-
And that was like a great thing about where we went to. Like it was great for a first tour because out east, like all the cities are pretty close together. So you don't have to like rush to get out the door. Like you can take your time in the morning and you can like do activities too, which like we kind of exhausted ourselves, I think,
Yeah,
doing
we
that at the
did.
same time. But it was also
Yeah.
really fun and like cool. Yeah.
yeah.
While
We
you're
definitely
there,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
day.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we definitely did squeeze in as much as
Yeah.
we possibly could.
Yeah. It wasn't that long of a tour either, so we were fine. But
And we're excited to go again.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Again, more of a general question, but
Yes.
and this can be really anything. I want to leave this very open. Pardon me if this is redundant. For just, I'll take this time to say you are currently tied with Abe and Anita from Alien Book Club for most
Your
appearances on this goddamn show.
Well,
You're
and
on
my album
4.
is coming out soon, so I'm gonna win.
Yeah, you have your album. You're a second Fendi EP. Just like, just
Yeah.
calm down.
Yeah.
But
Me and
actual
Abe
question.
were just like, keep-
That's cool.
When was
That's
this?
cool.
Hopefully, everybody has some their own thought. But when was the time you really felt like Keep for Cheap was like kind of really fulfilling what you'd wanted to, like whether it was like the release show and like I just imagine like release shows are always hopefully very cathartic and very fantastic, or just even like hearing first mixes back for the first time. Like when was a moment for each of you that you were really like, this is why I'm in this band. This is what I want this to feel like. Even if, like, it's not always going to be like this. That's human nature and everything. But like one of those moments that really
Yeah.
just stood out to you.
something that pops to my head right away is like, so I like to play in bands because I like to play shows. I like to have that experience, even though I'll play a show and freak the fuck out and have to be like, I need to hide because of my adrenaline. But like, that's what I like to do. I like to play the shows. And like, you know, we were gigging constantly before the pandemic. And like, I got to a point where I was so sick of it. And I really liked having that chance to not gig for a while. But, you know, we didn't play for a year. We didn't play for like a year, and then we came back, and then it was, for me, it's specifically those 2 back-to-back 7th Street shows, the Bad Bad Hats, and then the 26 Bats show.
Yeah.
Like, that was a moment, and like people were like digging us, and I was like, this is it. This is fucking sick. Like, we've for a regional band, we've made it at this point. You know,
We're chilling.
for where we're at. We're chilling. For where we're at. We're chilling.
Big chillin'.
So, but that was big chilling.
I am content.
But yes, those 2 back-to-back 7th Street entry shows.
That's so true. Like, coming
Caught
back
him like
from,
fighting about
I had to
there
fight
was
to
some
make sure we could
pushback and-
Oh my God,
keep
yeah.
both of those shows.
Radius
Even though it was
clause.
not our fault. They didn't want us to play
Radius
both those a
clause.
week from apart, even though it was not our fault. So.
Yeah.
I made sure that it happened. Stupid.
I'll fight every booking agent.
Sorry, James.
Yeah. I feel like for me, like, tour was a big moment, being like, this is really
Yeah.
sick. Like, I don't know. And we were just having fun, you know? Like, traveling around, playing different places, meeting people and shit. Like, that was so cool. I was like, damn, we're really doing this right now.
Hell yeah.
That was
It's-
really cool.
Same for me. I have 2, but like tour is like the first one. Like just being in it and out there, and like even though we were playing small shows, everywhere we went was so receptive, and like just like it just felt so cool to be playing in new cities where people had never heard of you, and like it made me feel like, oh, we don't. I feel like at that time when it was like kind of the album had just come out, I was very in like an online mindscape or like like Mind Place or whatever. Mindscape, I don't know.
Sherlock Holmes.
Mindset, that's the word.
I like Mindscape.
Mindscape. I was in like a very online Mindscape.
New turn.
And like very just like, oh, like success is online and it's what you blah 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 blah. And it was just, I was just getting in my mindscape.
Getting in your mindscape about it.
So like being out there and like just like kind of telling myself like, hey, this will be here anytime you want to go back out on the road and can,
Regardless
like,
of whether
it'll
you're posting
be
TikToks
there.
or not or anything.
Yeah, literally like you don't need like it, and it really like I feel like reset my whole thing. Like now I'm like haven't been focused on online mindscape for a while. And I feel like it really reset me.
I mean, you're not doing NFTs now?
Oh my fucking.
But and then
So,
Where it's like, well, maybe.
okay, also another thing for me, I don't want to.
Automate
When
Go back.
got that fucking the embroidery, like the
Yes.
like thing.
someone fan art,
crazy,
fan art.
Yeah, like somebody literally like the poster that we had for the release show. Somebody brought us like an embroidered
Like the little,
version.
like, kind of like outline.
Yeah,
kind
The
of
one
thing.
that Shannon made.
and we were like,
yeah.
Oh, I should have
and like with the bark, like the bark, like
Yes, the bark
it.
around it. Yeah.
That was like no.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, we've made it.
yeah. Seriously.
Or when we got those like friendship bracelets from that other
Yeah.
friend.
Oh,
People have been
yeah.
making shit for us.
Yeah.
Like, please do.
Seriously. Yeah, please do.
I love that.
Yeah, the album
That's
show
so
is
fucking nice.
like that other one. Just like hear anything we would say on stage, people would be like,
Yeah, dude.
and that to me
that
has
shit's so
never
funny.
happened at a show before, and it was actually so crazy. Like I feel like it's happened a couple times since, where people are starting to
Yeah.
like freak out more, which is just so crazy. But like that show especially, and like everyone was singing along and like screaming when we would say what we were about to play next, and like that was so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Very.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't really have anything to add. I mean, like all of those experiences lately have really like solidified for me that Keep Your Cheap is like really going somewhere, and it's like enjoyable, and we're not trying to like burn ourselves out. We're trying to do it in a way that's like organic and constructive and like
Sustainable.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
like your sanity.
yeah,
Fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and yeah, it's been really cool to celebrate that, you know, releasing the record there, just because of the amount of people in the scene that were there, and just like how like congratulatory people have been about the record. So it's like it's really satisfying to have it out
Yes.
after so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Well, you already kind of teased us a little bit ain't no rest for the Keep for Cheap. But what does the future, both immediate and long term, kind of hold for the band? I know it's usually when we do interviews, it's a little bit closer to like release time. So I'm always like, hopefully you're taking like a deep breath, and like kind of like, letting it all wash over you, because like just and still even a few months afterwards, it's like the almost like ordeal of putting out a record is just like so much. Like it's important to like I think just take sense of that accomplishment, but also just like. What have you already working on some new music? It sounds like so. What?
Yeah. Oh, we've been working on new music.
A couple new ones in the pocket.
Yeah.
One is like we've been talking about recording a single or something this winter. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
We're like I think right now we're working on a tour that's kind of more imminent than I think. Well, we've been working on music, but I think more imminent than recording.
Yeah.
But we might go to the West Coast this.
March, at least a little bit.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
but we've been working on it.
Maybe south,
maybe south,
southwest.
Yeah.
Come to Brazil. This is like always.
When we get that comment, we'll know when we've made it.
Montevideo.
But our new music is. I think the couple ones we've been working on are. I think more chill, more country folk, more folky, like
yes,
yeah, vibey.
Well, I got the lap steel. I got the lap steel that I
Bird
can't play very well. So, but
now you're doing
doing great.
I'm doing
sounds
things.
fucking great. It sounds sick as hell. I'm excited about it.
But yeah, maybe we might try to record like a single to kind of time out with the tour.
Yeah,
but we'll see. That's
You don't need to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Promises and like it'll come out December 18th. We're calling it now. No. Cool. Well, the album is available everywhere. Find it on streaming services. Buy it on Bandcamp. Vinyl's coming.
Hopefully
at some
this
point
month.
soon.
Like I think it was supposed to be September, but I have to check in.
I thought like the date was like the 23rd.
I think like the website
Okay.
refreshes like October to November for like shipping.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's fight.
It's coming.
Vinyl.
You can still buy it.
It's supposed to come to my house
Vinyls right
in
now.
the next like 2 weeks,
Okay.
allegedly. But
Okay.
who knows?
Okay.
Literally, who knows? With we don't need to get too insider based, so I'll shut the hell up now. But you can still buy it.
Yes. Buy
Any
it.
other pluggables before we? do the final part?
When will this come out? We might have a Halloween show.
We do.
That'll be really. We do. We do have a Halloween show.
If it hasn't gotten announced, stay
Yes.
tuned. But if it has gotten announced, cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just follow us. Keep for cheap. Thank you for being here and listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, last thing, I always, as I'm sure anyone that has listened to this more than once, unlike me, recalls, I like ending the episode just with some local music recommendations, or just maybe
cool.
like underground, like underappreciated. Like, who do we want to shout out and like kind of just draw some attention to, spread some love, and point people in the direction of? Because there's no time like the present. Bert's already got Spotify going, so we're.
Yeah, I gotta try to remember.
No, this is exactly the time. Like I will never judge people. Be like, just get your phone out. Just, I can't remember shit.
I think underrated is Present Company. I was super
they were
impressed with
really
their
good.
show.
That's cool.
Last Friday we played their record release show, which is great record, and they put on an awesome show, like
Yeah.
party to the
Big
max.
time. Big time. Very
So definitely
talented.
them.
Yeah.
Haroon, I've been loving the new single.
Yeah, the new
like,
song is
seriously,
in my head all day.
that's-
Awesome.
Yeah.
Peppermint.
Peppermint. Yeah. Yeah, that was
Great.
cool to play
Great
with.
set.
Yeah. Mike Coda as always.
Mike.
Mike's fantastic.
Mike.
Mike. Yeah, true.
Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fend.
Wow.
Kate Melaniphy.
Myself.
Fend.
Heart to Gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
true.
I got the Heart to Gold
Classic.
shirt on right now. Grant,
Yeah.
if you're listening,
Kill
we
us
love
online. Kill us
Kill us
you. Yeah, kill us
online.
online.
Grandma.
Grandma.
But seriously though,
Playing
Kate,
with Gel like in October.
There's
was
so
That's
many
gonna be
people.
sick.
so
The people
insane.
listening know all the good bands too. Like I know
I will
y'all
just
know
say-
what's going on.
If anything, it's a reminder. It's like,
That's
oh,
so
I should
true.
listen to
That's
this.
so true.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of like, you know,
Bugsy.
maybe it's not local, but like smaller level stuff, like bands we played with on the road, like
Yeah, true.
fucking Comfy.
Comfy was
was
good.
awesome. They were
Rochester, New
great.
York.
Yeah.
Obviously, just
Dolly Spartans
Throw
in
a
New
picture.
York was
Dolly
really cool.
Spartans.
Yeah,
Dolly
yeah, they were
Spartans
really
is really
good.
cool.
Obviously,
Oh,
Victoria
they're
Oh yeah,
they're
they're so
There
cool.
is amazing.
I was like, I actually cried
Yeah,
at their
for real.
set in Philly.
Yeah,
that
Zara
was
and Riverby were both.
yes,
Oh, you played with Riverby?
incredible.
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
was
that was a
fantastic.
great.
It
That was
was
a great night.
super cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
Just listen
quickly,
to every band.
yeah,
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 if you
find the
see
tour
music,
poster and
listen to
just
it.
scroll. Yeah.
yeah, Kate Melanchi
Click the link
album
every
coming
time.
out soon, and it's really
Yeah,
really
bitch.
good.
Sorry, am I allowed to say that?
We've been
Yeah, you
swearing
can't
the last
swear
year.
stuff.
the whole
It's
time.
gonna be-
You're like, am I allowed
You
to
made
say
our
that?
lives miserable. It's gonna be half this interview.
I actually quit the band now. That was
Right.
too much.
Do you actually beep?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm so sorry.
I'm swearing too.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Just like a 35-second long beep as like Autumn's explaining fish
Fish thing. Yeah.
and then they just
We might actually do that.
All at the
that'd be
same
really
time.
funny.
It'll be able to do it for the
All at
the same time.
class.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking time to
Thank
chat.
you,
Congratulations
Wes.
on the album.
Thank you, Wes.
Definitely
you.
Thanks,
check
Wes.
it out.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love you, Ear Coffee.
Yeah, your coffee
Yeah,
rocks.
You've
Your coffee
been a
forever.
support from the start, and we love that. So thank you.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.